Bacteria, viruses. Just the mention of these organisms bring up visions of sickness and disease. Bacteria is everywhere. They can be found in our digestive system, on our skin, clinging to our hair and eyelashes, and in fact, trillions all around us. They are even found in the Earth's crust. They have an amazing ability to survive due to multiple factors. First, with a little bit of moisture, they can live off almost anything and anywhere from the deep parts of the Earth's crust, rocks, boiling mud pots to the deep waters of the Pacific Ocean, where pressure can reach as much as 1,000 times the pressure on the surface of the Earth. They feed on rocks, minerals, acids, and breathe elements such as iron, cobalt, and chromium. And if the conditions do not allow surviving, they simply lay dormant, waiting for the right moment to spring back to life. Like Bacillus permians that scientists found in frozen Siberian permafrost and managed to revive after 3 million years. The second trait that ensures bacteria's survival is their ability to reproduce in huge numbers. In a single day, one bacterial cell can generate 280 billion offspring. Bacteria can also share information by borrowing pieces of genetic coding from each other, a trait that enables them to become superorganisms. This is their planet. They have survived for billions of years, long before human existence, and will do so until the sun stops shining. We cannot survive without them. They process our wastes, they purify our water, and some are even responsible for keeping our atmosphere stable and providing most of the breathable air of our planet. But if bacteria seems to be man's best friend, why do we associate them with the worst? Well, maybe because some bacteria can actually harm us, such as the bacteria causing meningitis that lives harmlessly in the human throat, but if it mistakenly ends up in the bloodstream could cause terrible havoc. They have killed millions of humans, and sometimes they literally eat their hosts, such as the flesh-eating bacterial disorder necrotizing fasciitis. It seems that bacteria is a strong monster, but there is an even worse villain that can make bacteria itself ill: viruses. Viruses in themselves are dead, simple, harmless, but very effective and deadly in some cases. They can stand against white blood cells, our immune system defenders, and some have evolved and adapted to either strike quickly and move on like the flu virus, others hide waiting for the right moment to take action, such as HIV virus. They also spread fast out of nowhere and disappear suddenly like the sleeping sickness or swine flu, with doctors unable to understand them fully and no medical explanation to date could provide any satisfactory answer. So how do we fight these microbes? In order to protect ourselves, the human body sends its guards, the white blood cells, to fight an invasion, and in doing so our immune system sometimes destroys cells of our own and damages critical tissues, which creates a drain in your body from your energy, which makes you feel unwell and sick. And how do microbes react to your sickness? Well, they use it by sneezing, vomiting, or having diarrhea. Our bodies provide the perfect method of transportation for microbes to move from one host to the next. And when mosquitoes are in the area, they help the microbe to be delivered straight into the bloodstream of a new, unsuspecting host, causing the devastating spread of disease such as malaria, yellow fever, the Zika virus, and many others. And as time passes, we come to realize that more and more diseases could be related to these tiny organisms. Our main defense against harmful bacteria has long since been antibiotics, but unfortunately, most antibiotics today are no longer effective enough because bacteria and viruses have learned to resist them. We have been lucky so far in identifying and finding cures for most outbreaks, but our luck might run out. Because we do not react fast enough to keep up with them, the time might come when we do not have efficient cure, especially if we do not recognize or understand microbes well enough. For instance, how much have you learned about microorganisms from your old school textbook? Almost nothing. In fact, they have been miscategorized for a very long time. Originally, The division of living things consisted of only two categories, plants and animals. Although they did not fit there, bacteria was miscategorized as plants in the same way fungi and slime molds were considered plants. However, they share nothing in their structure with plants. In 1969, there was a proposal to divide life into 5 kingdoms, putting fungi and bacteria each in their own domain. Still, this was not considered a good classification, as one of them, called Protesta, consisted of over 200,000 different species of organisms that just didn't fit anywhere else. In the mid-70s, an American microbiologist, Carl Woese, performed studies on genetic sequencing in bacteria and discovered that on a genetic level, microbes were more different from each other than humans are from spiders. Woese subsequently suggested an updated tree of life with 3 primary domains: bacteria, archaea, and eukarya, consisting of 23 divisions. Archaea is a microorganism that looks and behaves like bacteria, but is genetically very different. This new division of 23 had various responses. Most scientists felt it was too much to include and unnecessary, like the Harvard zoologist Ernest Mayr. He argued that since the archaean and bacteria realms only consisted of a few thousand simple specimens and were therefore insignificant compared to the highly evolved creatures, they do not need extensive division, and therefore living things should only be divided into either simple cells or complex cells, essentially only 2 kingdoms, prokaryota and eukaryota. Even though scientists are unable to reach a consensus on the significance of microbes, one thing is clear: the world as we know it is much more complex than we can ever begin to imagine. With microbes making up 80% of all things, we come to the realization that the world doesn't belong to the human race, but to the very small microorganisms.